Jr., 10:25. These are all Central Times. 10:25, we'll have Fred McNair from Alcorn State. 10:35 will be head coach Raymond, Woodie, Bethune-Cookman. 10:45, Coach Willie Simmons, Florida A&M. 10:55, Coach Hugh Jackson, Grambling State. 11:05, Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. 11:15, Coach Kendrick Wade with Mississippi Valley State. 11:25, Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie A&M. 11:35, Coach Eric Dooley with Southern University. 11:45 will be Coach Clarence McKinney with Texas Southern, and at 11:55 we'll have Coach TC Taylor with Jackson State University. We're a little bit early, so we'll get started here momentarily. Appreciate your patience. Thank you. Few quick items of mention for our media members that are joining us on the call. If you do have any questions for our head coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. We will have 10-minute blocks of each head coach will be answering questions. We do ask that you please limit your questions to one question and one follow-up question potentially. We'll try to work our way back around if we do have some additional questions or some additional time in our head coach's availability to get additional questions answered. We also ask that you please leave your lines muted unless you are actively asking one of our head coaches a question. We'll begin here momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
Recording in progress.
Once again, thank you to all of our media members that have taken some time out of your schedules to join us on our first SWAC football head coaches media session for the 2023 season. We'll start things off with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. The Bulldogs will open the season this Saturday. They'll travel to face SEC foe Vanderbilt there in Nashville. Had to be joined by Coach Maynor. Coach, if you could, please just start us out with an opening statement recapping camp and also previewing your upcoming opponents. Coach, I think we're having some trouble with some audio. I can't hear you. Are you No, we can't hear you. Okay, we're going to pause momentarily. We'll try to get Coach's audio there connected. We do appreciate everyone's patience.
Recording stopped.
Coach, can you give us a sound test? I'm hearing something come through. Can you try to give us a sound test real quick, Coach? Okay, there we go. We can hear you now.
I don't know the problem.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Appreciate that, Coach. Coach, just starting back off, if you could, just start us out with an opening statement, recapping camp and also previewing your upcoming opponent.
Technical difficulties.
We can hear you, Coach.
All right.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm sorry. They redid my office and they didn't hook back up my speakers the right way, so I had to use it on my phone. I'm sorry.
No problem, Coach.
Okay, yeah. We had a good camp, we think. You guys are excited about the first week, ready to play some football, especially after watching some football this weekend. Ready to hit somebody else. guys been flying around, and again, we just ready to hit somebody else. And of course, we got Vanderbilt this week, so we got to go up there play Saturday night at 6:30, I think, 6 o'clock. And just excited to see what the guys going to do. Want to fly around, want to try to stay competitive as long as we can, and try to get out that game healthy and get ready for the stretch run.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Maynor. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for Coach Maynor. Opening up the floor for questions for Coach. All right, first question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach. Mason Smith from HBCU Legends. Obviously, you have a very powerful running game coming into this year. How do you plan to maximize that effort, as you've seen from camp and going into your first game?
Yeah, well, we think we got a good offensive line, and we think we got a good running back in Donovan Eaglin. We got a couple guys behind him that we think can get some valuable carries. So we want to lean on the offensive line as much as we can in Donovan Eaglin, but we also want to stay balanced too. So of course, if they start loading the box, we got to throw the ball, and we feel that we got some receivers and some quarterbacks that can get them the ball. So of course, we want to lean on those guys, and we want to try to run the ball. And play running back by committee and keep Donovan fresh for the whole season.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, speaking of committee, clearly throughout camp, it looks like you've had a 3-team race between Quad and Quincy and Xavier. How do you plan to handle things with the QBs going into Saturday's contest?
We probably going to play 2 quarterbacks Saturday. And it's probably going to be X and Quad, probably be the 2 guys we play Saturday, and then we'll go from there probably.
Next question goes to Carl Prather.
Morning, Coach Maynor. Wanted to piggyback off of what Mo had asked. Is there any sort of kind of quote-unquote pitch count that you would maybe implement with the guys there, kind of getting a feel and a grasp for what they can and can't do in a game-like setting?
Well, we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it by ear, Carl. We may do quarters, we may do possessions. We just may go by a feel. If whoever we go with first play well, we might just keep them in there. So it's still open right now. We'll see.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. We have another question from Carl Prather.
Coach, did want to ask about the running back room and with Donovan and that group as a whole. I know you want to be a little bit versatile. Obviously, he's the bell cow, but what have you been able to see during camp from that room that has you encouraged as you get ready for Vanderbilt on Saturday?
Right. We think we got a couple other backs behind Donovan that can get it done. Of course, we didn't run Donovan a lot in camp. We want to make sure he stayed healthy and was ready to go for the season. So those other guys got a lot of valuable carries and looks and did a great job.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, during preseason, of course, we talk about your O-line, your quarterbacks, your running backs, but really get a chance to kind of lock in on what comes to the table when you have your core wide receivers. Can you kind of just give us an idea, what are we looking at from the receiving core and maybe who are some guys to be on the lookout for this upcoming season?
Yes, Keenan Hammer could be back. He started for us last year. Terrell Gardner be back. He started for us last year. CJ Young will be back. He started and played some games for us last year. Darren Turner will be back. Those will probably be our top 4. And then LeVar has stepped it up in camp. He's had a good camp. And so we got 5 or 6 guys that we think can play on Saturdays and get the job done. So we're pleased for that group. Then now they just got to go out and execute on Saturdays.
Next question goes to Carl Prather.
Throughout the beginning of camp, Coach, you mentioned the chemistry as far as leadership and the camaraderie amongst the group as a whole, from the upperclassmen and leaders to the young guys. Just how encouraged were you with just camp as a whole and the right attitude, right mindset to be ready for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I think we got the right attitude. It's a lot better than last year's. I think the leadership is a lot better than last year's. We had a lot of transfers that came in and didn't quite buy in, and I think it's a difference this year how those guys have come together. Zarion Hayes is doing a tremendous job of leading those guys, not just the defense but the whole team. And the chemistry is just a lot better. You know, I've coached a lot, and this chemistry is a lot better than it has been in the past. So I'm excited about that, and can't wait to see how these guys react.
Got time for one more question for Coach Maynor. Final question for Coach Maynor. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And congratulations to TC on a big win this week for his program and the SWAC against the MEAC. Good job, man.
Appreciate that, Coach. We'll now go over to Alabama State. The Alabama State Hornets open the season this upcoming Saturday. They're in Montgomery, Alabama, against the Southern Jaguars. Happy to be joined by Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson. Good morning, Coach.
All right, good morning. How's it going?
Coach, recapping camp and then previewing your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, so I mean, camp's been going pretty good. Got it wrapped up. Everybody's back in class and getting into our regular schedule. You know, like I think like Coach Maynor said, you know, we've been hitting each other, watching the same offensive plays week after week. So now it's time to see what you have and go out there and compete against someone else. We were fortunate. Came out of pretty healthy, and having any major injuries. So now it's just time to go out there and see if everything is enough to get a W.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach Robinson. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Good morning, Coach. I know you're probably looking for a better offensive performance this year. I was wondering how that was coming along and what you like about your offense going into this opener.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going along pretty good right now. I think we have added a couple more, playmakers at the wide receiver position. Make it easy on the quarterback. He doesn't have to be perfect all the time. And I think it's really going to come to us running the football. I think most coaches would tell you the same thing. We have a good group of running backs, and I think if we can run the football well, take the pressure off the quarterback, keep them in good manageable situations.
And for a follow-up, defensively, Colton Adams, are you looking for another big year out of him, and how's he been as a leader for this group?
I mean, yeah, he's just one of those guys that just leads by example. Always on time. He has 2 degrees. He's working on the second master's now, so he's what you want out of a college student, a college football player. Goes out there and just puts in a good day's work every day. Just really working on him, taking that next step so he can get his hands on the ball, do more in pass coverage, just get those type of big plays, those big impact plays. He makes the good, consistent play, makes a lot of tackles. Does all of those type things, is getting better at blitzing the quarterback. So just trying to really help him to be a good all-around linebacker. As far as making the tackles and playing downhill, he does that naturally.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. Hope you have a good week this week. You're getting ready for Southern. Of course, the question everybody wants to know is who is going to be leading the offense, leading into Saturday from the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think it's still D. Davis is in the lead of that race. Still going into this week. You want to have competition at all areas, so he knows he has to go out there and to perform. But he's really coming into his own. Having that second year, that spring, and now this fall. So I feel like he'll be that guy that can kind of take us there. But Stewart, transfer kid from UAB, he's playing extremely well. Also played really well in the scrimmage this past Saturday. So. It's good to have options. So I think, we expect D to get out there and get it going. But those guys are competing, and it's a good competition. They realize that they both can't play at the same time, of course, and they want to push each other to make each other better. And then our redshirt freshman, Quaylet, he kind of brings in a different dimension. Probably the best runner out of the 3, but he's another guy that's still in the mix. Had a little injury during camp, so it set him back a little bit. But just had to talk to him this morning about still competing and don't be complacent with not being the guy.
Absolutely. Quick follow-up. Of course, this is the first time you were playing Southern since 2016. There were a lot of fans, a lot of people are excited. What can fans expect from Alabama State football going into Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to get in that motto of it's our house. You know, we're inviting them down here, and we want to be real rude hosts and get a W. We know Coach Dooley's gonna bring those guys down here ready to play, and we're expecting a big crowd. You know, the Jaguar Nation travels really well, so with the RVs and everything like that. So, you know, I grew up watching Southern play in the Bayou Classic, so we know what they're about, and the team has to know. We haven't played them in a couple of years. So I don't think anybody on this roster has played against them. So it'll be a big thing for our fans just to kind of get that rival going back again. And so it should be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. This will be your second opening day to start the season. How more comfortable are you going into this opener than you was the MEAC SWAC Challenge last year?
Well, yeah, I had a lot of questions last year, and I'm sure you know, kind of like TC and like Maynor did. Congratulations to him; he did a great job, you know, representing the conference and winning that MEAC SWAC challenge. But I had a lot of questions in that game last year, and it's just one of those things you can always think you're ready, but you never know you're ready until you get that experience. So I use those lessons and try to be better at it this year. I have Coach Simmons on my staff as my DFO. So the good thing is I have a guy that's done it for a long time. His office, his door connects to mine. So I think in this business, you have to have a mentor, and I have a couple, but I definitely add Sims to that list. And, you know, things that I'm confused about or maybe not sure about or just wondering if you're doing it the right way, it's good to have a person in the building that you can ask. So it can't be too proud. You know, we tell our guys, you know, there's 3 words that all men need to be able to say, I need help. So, and I need help, I ask them. So, but I feel a whole lot better about it this year, and I think the team is more confident this year. So we kind of know what to expect of some things, but it's always going to be those things that just show up. It's college football, so you can't prepare for everything.
As a quick follow-up, Coach, you mentioned at the top in your response to my last question about the MEAC SWAC Challenge, Jackson State won on Saturday night to make it 2 wins in a row. You guys won last year. What does it mean for the conference to have the SWAC do so well against the MEAC?
I think it's great. I mean, we want to get back to where we're the best conference in all of FCS, and I think that's a start. And of course, you know, once we get to that Celebration Bowl, we hope it's us representing the SWAC. That's what our goal is. But whoever it is, you know, they have to get that W at that part of it too, so we can really make that stamp on it. But it's definitely a move in the right direction, and I thought they did a great job.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, this is a non-SWAC game. Do you like the idea of using your non-conference games to play other SWAC teams? Does that create any kind of a problem, or do you think it's better to do it that way?
I think it's great. I mean, as opposed to playing the game where you're going against an FBS opponent in order to raise the revenue. You know, if you can play a home game against Southern and hopefully get that same type of crowd, that a better atmosphere, in my opinion, and still get the revenue advantage, I think that's the best way to do it. That was the reason, you know, Coach Eddie Robinson and those guys created the Classics. They would go up to New York and they would play Hampton or Morgan State and Yankee Stadium, and that was the reason of it, because you can have that big revenue game, but still playing someone that your fans have an interest in seeing, and it's still a good competitive game that you have a good chance to win. So I think it's a positive.
We have any final questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State? Final questions for Coach? Coach Robinson, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
We'll now go to Alcorn State. Alcorn State head coach Fred McNair. The Alcorn State Braves will kick off the season this upcoming weekend. On the road, they'll travel to face Southern Miss, and we're happy to be joined by head coach Fred McNair. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping training camp and previewing your upcoming opponent.
I thought it was a great camp. It was very hot camp. It was very hot. I mean, it was brutal. Starting to practice in the morning time and trying to get out of the heat index, and during the course of the morning, about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So it was a great camp. I thought I saw a bunch of guys, young and old. The newcomer freshmen was coming in and competing for a position. Very competitive camp. I thought we saw some great things in the guys that we really expected things out of. Some of the older guys coming back, I felt like they did an outstanding job of showing leadership during the course of the camp and progressing to the end of it. For this upcoming week, we play Southern Miss and got a very competitive game. You know, I talked to the guys yesterday after practice, and I just talked to them about the 0-3 start we have against Southern Miss. We haven't won a game in three contests, and so it'll be a good opportunity for us to go down and play a hard FBS team to compete against. We got a great chance, I think. We're gonna go down and put a good product on the field and see how this thing turn out. I mean, they got a good running back in Frank Gore Jr. We have to really contain. He's good after the hit, call the yak yards. But we got a lot of things we got to do to prepare for him this week. So just really focus on ourselves these last couple of days and in preparation for Southern Miss on Saturday.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach McNair. Just a reminder, if you do have a question for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. We'll now open up for questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. First question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How you?
Good, good. Talk about your offense going into this season and what should we expect from those guys?
Well, the biggest thing is just going out last year and addressing the position that we need to address in terms of what we need for the offense to really click and take some pressure off our running back. I thought we did a great job of addressing those positions in terms of the wide receivers and the O-line, the tight end position. Those things that kind of help us out during the course of a week. Was a preparation for different things that we're going to see against Southern Miss defense. So I think our offense will be okay. We'll be very competitive up front. I think we brought in some guys that's going to make this thing move a little bit better than it did last year. We had a very good rushing attack last year. Could have been a lot better, but I think toward the end of the season last year we got banged up a little bit offensive line wise. But hopefully we got more depth up front. Quarterback situation, we still got a couple of days to make a decision on that position. The running back position, we got Jarvion, Nico Duffy, got Leatherwood, we got BJ Rogers in the backfield. So we got a good nucleus of players on the offensive side of the ball to make this thing work. So preparation this week, got Tuesday and Thursday practice and Tuesday and Wednesday practice, and hopefully we iron things out on Thursday and move down on Friday and get ready to play on Saturday.
Coach, as far as your quarterback situation is concerned, what are you looking at to be your deciding factor?
Well, the biggest thing is we always want leadership. We want to see we're going to take control of the offense and get these guys moving. Need that leadership at that position, making sure that these guys are putting our offensive line in the best protection, moving guys around and making the right calls, blitz pickup and stuff like that. All that plays a factor in the quarterback position and who's going to be the head of that ham at that position on Saturday. So we got a couple more days to kind of earn it out and see who's going to rise to the occasion. So both of the guys, all the guys did pretty good during camp. I mean, Mako, Allen, Trey. You got those guys that are really competitive, man. Then we got the little freshman, Rod from Texas. So all those guys was competitive. They did a great job in the course of the camp. Right now, we just really focus on those guys that the guy that's really going to make this offense run.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Garrett Busby. Hey, sorry, Garrett, we can't hear you for some reason.
Hey, Coach, Alcorn fans typically trying to do that, and I said it last time. The stadium.
Okay, can you try again, Garrett?
I said Alcorn fans travel really well, and in fact, the last time the stadium down in Hattiesburg, Coach Hall said was packed out was when y'all came to town. Can you just talk about the importance of your fans just being able to go to games,
I think
present themselves very well in a hostile crowd like that?
I think they'll travel. Alcorn, the fans we have, we travel very well, and we don't take that lightly because they know that the young men need their support in the stands. So our alumni, we travel very well. We have a lot of kids from the state of Mississippi that's on our program that's going to be involved in the fan base as well. Going into a hostile environment, we kind of used to that. We played at Southern Miss before. We know how it is down at the Rock. So hopefully, our fans will be louder than their fans in that case, and our band will play louder than their band, making it feel like we're at home. So when we're at home, our band is terrific, our crowd is terrific. So we're gonna travel. We're gonna pack the Rock out just as much purple and gold as we can, just to support our football program in terms of what we need to do to win this ball game, and be as loud as we can. So we're gonna have a good crowd down there at Southern Miss.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
How you doing, Coach McNair? Obviously, this is a big in-state matchup with Southern Miss. When it comes to the recruiting front, because of course Mississippi is a hotbed for prep talent, how big is it to have success against your in-state opponents? That way, high school recruits are saying, well, maybe instead of going to Southern Miss, I may go to Alcorn because of what I saw last game.
I tell you what, we raise that opportunity every time, and the fact that we recruit in the state of Mississippi very well at Alcorn, and we try to get as much talent out of Mississippi we can before we venture off into those other states. And we like our home crowd. We like the Mississippi kids. Unfortunately, we're not able to get all of them. The bigger FBS schools chew the most of them up. Like Southern Miss, they have a couple guys on the team that I've recruited myself from that area. So we're very competitive in the state of Mississippi in recruiting. So it means a lot when we recruit Mississippi and then able to go play an in-state rivalry such as Southern Miss, and just to show, Alcorn is just as good as the FBS schools in recruiting and the caliber football we play as well. So we'll be ready to play, and we'll show the state of Mississippi how well Alcorn is invested in recruiting the state of Mississippi.
Thank you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize your raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in queue for Coach. Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the reservation are well. Just talk a little bit about a brand new football season and a great opportunity to win some games and work with young men.
And I tell you what, James, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man, and your tweets and everything that you send out. The biggest thing is, it's a great year for football, and I tell the guys this all the time. Anytime that you get a chance to be able to come out and coach a young football program, a competitive program such as Alcorn State University, is always good. The kids enjoy it. The coaching staff I have really embraced everything that we're trying to do. We take pride in everything we do here at Alcorn State. So it's always good to be able to come out and play a football season such as 2023. It's like no other, It's going to be a hotter season, I know that. But hopefully when it cools off, it'll be better football played in the later season. So I'm always challenging each and every student athlete that we have to come out and compete, do their best, and always good to mentor the young men that we have playing for us today.
Coach, you have a great opportunity to go into the hub in Hattiesburg. Just talk a little bit about going down to Southern and coming out and playing Braves football.
That's the biggest thing. And I told the guys, it's been close, and the last time we played them, the scores don't really dictate how close the ball game was because we gave up a kickoff return, we gave a punt return during that course of that game. And I'm really emphasizing on special teams as we speak now. How important it is on special teams. It can win ball game for you. It can get you beat as well. So anytime you're going in to play a good quality team that Will Hall got down there in Southern Miss, a very competitive program. He's done a great job since he's been there. Made the Linden Tree Bowl last year, won it. So going to be a very competitive ball game. I think that Braves are going to come out and put a good product on the field, but we're going to be very competitive. We're going out to win a ball game. We're not going out there just to show up and collect the check. We're just going out there to win a ball game, because I think that's the most important thing that these young men that we have understand. It's not just a game. We're going to win a ball game. So those type of things that really matters to a coaching staff is how well the young men come out and play on Saturday.
Coach, in closing, real quick, this gives fans of the SWAC and also the Alcorn State University an opportunity to see you guys if they're not coming to the reservation, but they can go into the hub. Just talk a little bit about that.
That's the thing. Just going out and making sure the fans see a good product and being able to go to Southern Miss is just a skip and a hop away for some of the fans. But we'll have people out of Texas. We'll have people out of Alabama. We have people from everywhere that loves Alcorn State football that'll come to see a good football team on the field against a good FBS football program at Southern Miss. So going out there to the Rock is going to be very tough. So white guys understand it. Once the woo and the wild get over with, it's going to be football, just basic football, one-on-one football. That's all it is. So we just have to play hard and play competitive and make sure we're doing the things right, put these guys in a position to win a ball game.
Have a blessed week.
This weekend.
All right, thank you, guys.
Next, we go to Bethune-Cookman and head coach Raymond Woodie. The Wildcats will open the season this upcoming Saturday at Memphis, and we're happy to be joined by Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping camp and previewing week one.
Well, we've had a really good camp, obviously, going through this summer and progressing to fall camp, seeing some surprises, that you didn't think was going to escalate their abilities, because of the youthness. But we're excited, to go in week one, and we're excited for this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. Want to open the floor for questions for Coach Woodie. Once again, we do ask that you please limit your questions to one initial question and then a follow-up. And please use the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. Just talk a little bit about the first opportunity to go out and get one and represent the BCU, Let's Go Wildcats brand, your institution, and just going out and playing football.
Well, we're all excited, first starting with the coaching staff, being able to show these guys, how we're going to enter this season and them understanding the philosophy that we're portraying, and the players, they're excited as well. Obviously we had, an overhaul of guys, coming in that wanted to come in, and then the guys that wanted to stay, they stayed. But it's been exciting just to see this team grow.
Coach, in closing, your camp, what do you like and what do you see, and what's it been like for you so far to be back home?
Well, I tell you what, just appreciating the administration for giving me the opportunity and the support and the players. They want to win. I tell the coaches all the time, it's on us, and these guys, they see us as role models, mentors. We have to show them the way, and they have been really receptive to our instruction.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
How you doing, Coach Woodie? Mason Smith from HBCU Legends. Honestly, as the head coach, you wear a lot of hats. And when it comes to making sure your football team has what it needs in terms of equipment, gear, things of that nature, how has it been working with the administration, work with the administration to make sure your football team has everything it needs to succeed on and off the field?
Well, I tell you, safety is number one. And being able to work with the administration has been great. And obviously, we're going to keep getting better. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. No one stays the same. And I think we got better since I've started, being able to let them know the needs that we need as a total program. And so far, and I see it getting better and better, they're getting us what we need. So now we just have to make sure we put out a good product, so everyone gets excited about what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. To follow up on that, how is it different today than it was when you first stepped on campus a few months ago to take the job in terms of like the things that you guys need and the resources and all that?
Well, you know what? When the word gets out, you know, you're coming to work. You're not just showing up to work, but you showing up to work and you're going to work. And I think it's, you know, being in a position where you mentoring young men and you're taking them out in the community, you know, going to different places. And we tell the guys all the time, love equals time. So if you're spending time with, if you love someone, you're going to spend time with them. And, you know, I think the narrative that they're seeing is we're putting our heads down. We're not making no excuses, blaming no one. We're getting to work. We be getting a lot of support, you know, not just from administration, but, you know, from the community. So, you know, the resources are coming. You know, we got the synthetic turf field that's pretty much going to be ready probably in a month or so. And, you know, we're excited because, you know, it's going to not just help us, you know, with preparing to win games, but also with recruiting.
Okay. As a follow-up to that, Coach, there's been a lot of talk about the infrastructure of the football program in terms of resources, but on the football field, what is your assessment of the team? And this ball club has had a couple down years. How close are they to getting back to the Bethune-Cookman style of football that everybody's become familiar with?
Well, you know, we have to take steps. You know, we have to get 1% better each day. Uh, you know, coming into the situation after signing day, just kind of seeing some of the holes that we need to fill. I mean, we're slowly coming, and we're heading in the right direction. And what we have to do is master the 5 A's. You know, alignment, assignment. You know, the adjustments, the alert, and then the attack piece. You know, and we keep doing that. You know, we're really going to be where we want to be. You know, we want to keep getting better.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Man, it was that easy. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you.
We'll now go to Florida A&M. We are a few minutes ahead of schedule. We'll have Coach Simmons join us here momentarily. We'll pause for a brief minute, then we'll come back and resume our media session. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our participants on this week's weekly media session, next week we'll conduct this call on Tuesday. We'll observe, obviously, Labor Day that Monday, so we'll have next week's call will be on Tuesday. The schedule will start at 10 o'clock and conclude at roughly 12:05. So once again, next week's weekly media session will be Tuesday, September the 5th. And just a quick reminder, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. We will try to work through and get as many questions answered as possible during our coaches' 10-minute window of availability. Next up, we're going to go over to Florida A&M and head coach Willie Simmons. I do believe that we have Coach on the call with us.
Yes, I'm on.
Appreciate that. Coach, as always, we thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping your training camp and previewing week one.
Yeah, I thought we had a really productive training camp. A lot of new faces, a lot of returning faces. So to take all those pieces and try to put them together to form a close football team was our main goal. Got a lot accomplished. Everybody seems to have bought into what we're trying to do. So we're excited about this great opportunity that's in front of us. Obviously, we all know how big the Orange Blossom Classic is. We know the last 2 years that game's decided the winner of the SWAC East. And so again, our players are really, really fired up about this week. To go up against a really good Jackson State football team that beat South Carolina State pretty handily this past weekend. So need a great week of preparation. It started yesterday. Obviously, we'll monitor the storm that's coming and as a university decide what's best for everyone involved. But hopefully it'll pass with minimal damage and we'll be able to play the game as scheduled and go from there.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open the floor for questions for Coach Simmons. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at FAMU are well. Can you just talk a little bit about the mentality going into this weekend? Obviously, three's a charm. This is the third installment, but why is this weekend's game so important? And if the storm, if it permits and you guys play, just talk about going in there and the legacy and the history of it.
Well, it's important for a lot of reasons. One, it's our next game, so old great Coach Coach Whitney over at Alcorn coined the phrase, every game's a big game because it's the next one we get to play. And so, we're appreciative of that opportunity. I'm thankful that football season is upon us. But beyond that, obviously, it's a conference game, it's a divisional game, and all of those things play a huge part in determining who represents this great conference in the SWAC championship game, and then ultimately the Cricket Celebration Bowl. So those are definitely two goals of ours, and this game will go a long way in determining that. So all those things combined are why this is a big game for us.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, to follow up on that, how much pressure, if at all, is there to win this particular game? With the stakes you mentioned and just the position your football team is in, being the favorite going into the SWAC season this year?
Well, again, I think our guys understand the magnitude of the game. Whether you call that pressure or not, I'm not sure. For us, pressure can bust pipes, or it can make diamonds. And our job is to make sure that it doesn't overwhelm us and that it allows us to make diamonds and that these guys play up to their full potential, that the game isn't too big for anybody involved from FAMU's side. And again, with a veteran group like we have, quarterback Musa, defensively, guys like Isaiah Major, General Hunt, Kendall Bowler that have been in the fight, that have played in this type of game, this magnitude, that for us is just another Sunday competition for us. And we got to go in and play our best. We'll play really well, not necessarily our best, but play really well. And just play one play at a time and not let the lights get too big for us. And that's hopefully the veteran leadership we have will allow our guys to do that.
Has there been any extra emphasis on this game because Jackson State has been the only team you guys have not beaten in the SWAC since you joined?
It's extra emphasis on the game because it's the next one we play. And we want to win them all, but you can't win them all unless you 1-0. So for us, it's about being 1-0 this week. That's our sole purpose. That's our sole goal, is to be 1-0 and to do the little things it takes to get there. And that's all we're talking about. It's not about who we play, where we play, the conditions in which we play under. Our biggest battle is ourselves and making sure that we lock ourselves in mentally to what we have to do.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach Simmons. Hope everything's going well on your end. As you mentioned in your open, you probably got a chance to catch the SWAC Challenge. What did you see from your opponent in Jackson State, and how beneficial is it now to see, okay, they had a lot of new players come in, but now you're seeing those players in action?
Well, I saw a well-coached team. I saw a team that plays hard. Saw an athletic team, and it's what you come to expect. Obviously, they lost some really good players, but they signed some really good players. T.C. Taylor's a great coach. He's been a part of the league for a long time. He played at Jackson, understands their history. So, again, I don't think anyone thought that they would drop off tremendously. Obviously, the people felt there would be a little bit of a drop off being that they picked us to win the East and them second. So But I think anyone with any football knowledge would assume that Jackson State would be a very formidable football team. We knew that going in, and just what we saw Saturday was confirmation of that.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, how's it going this morning?
It's going well. I was about to ask Charles, what's up with this new name I see on the screen here? I don't know if you had gone through some type of identity crisis. I don't know what's going on, Doc. What's going on, man?
See, that's my first name, but for those that know me, they use my middle name. So you actually right. You know me, so you're confused. It's a little trick I play every once in a while. But to get down to business, I wanted to ask you, because I see you have the blinders on and focus, particularly for your players understanding the importance of the next game, this game. But I wanted to ask you about the framework of the season and how things have changed. Your past coaching experience, this current experience with NIL, also the transfer portal. How has that changed your preparation to start out the year? Because you've had both situations where you've opened the season with the conference opponent.
Yeah, I think the college football landscape, obviously, we all see it's changing yearly, and I think one of the keys to success in any field is that you're able to adapt. And we pride ourselves on being able to do so. And so for us, how we recruit, what we do with our guys here, all those things have to be what we call best practices to make sure that we're placing our young men in the best positions to be successful. Fortunately for us, we haven't been hit hard by the transfer portal as far as losing guys. And we've done a really good job of bringing young men in through the portal. So, but it's ever changing. Realignment, NIL, all of the things that make college football what it is today. You have to be on the front end of it. A lot of older coaches are getting out of it because they see the direction the sport is headed in. But for me, I guess I'm still relatively young enough and have enough energy to adapt to the new way to interact with an 18 to 23-year-old. But coming out the gate playing a game like this, it seems like I've done it every year I've been in the SWAC. So it's just part of it.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Hi, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Charles. See that big smile on your face.
Coach, I wanted to ask real quickly, what were the similarities or differences that you saw in this 2023 Jackson State football team?
Well, obviously the similarities, they're athletic. They play hard, and they made plays. They made the plays that came their way. And so that's obviously what you expect from a good football team. The difference, again, the sideline is a different head coach, but they take on the personality of the head coach. So again, I think people looking to see what they would look like after Coach Prime left. Again, unless you were just down on Jackson, you had to assume that they were going to be a good football team. So again, there are a lot of things to take away from watching the game that you kind of go in expecting. And I didn't think there would be a huge drop off as far as production. And it's been a hard-fought battle. Well, one of the 2 years, last year wasn't. But we've arguably been the two best teams in the conference over the last 2 years. And I think this year's edition will be about the same. I think we're two of the top teams in the conference. And there's two Giants going toe-to-toe game one.
Last question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Kyle.
Good. All right, going into this game and watching Jackson State, do you think facing that defense, you guys would need to change anything or modify your approach offensively?
No, I mean we'll do what we do offensively. It's a game, a test of wheels, which I make the analogy all the time with our team about boxing. You got two fighters with very distinct styles that train for months for a big prize fight, and when they get into the ring, it's the fighter who's able to stick to his training and his style of fighting that probably has the best chance to be successful. And so for us, I think it will be the same. We both have identities. We both have things we want to do in all phases. So it's a team that's able to do what we do best and not have to change too much. I think we'll be the team that has the best chance. Obviously, you'll make adjustments throughout the game, But if you go in saying you want a heavy emphasis on the run, and you get in there, you can't run it, probably going to be a long day. You go in saying that you want to pressure the quarterback, and you find out after a couple of quarters that you can't get after the quarterback, you're probably going to have a long day. So for us, we'll have a game plan that will be based around our personnel and our identity as a football team. And as long as we're able to stick to that plan, I think we'll be just fine.
Have you seen anything from their offense that your defense would need to, like any key points that your defense will need to kind of focus on to attack them in this game?
Get lined up, tackle, and watch the ball.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach, and good luck.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, Coach Simmons. Thank you for your time, sir. We'll now go to Grambling State. Head coach Hugh Jackson. I do believe we have Coach on the call. All right. Happy to be joined by Grambling State head coach Hugh Jackson. Obviously, the Tigers kick off the season against Hampton University this Saturday in New Jersey. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping camp and previewing week one.
It was a really good camp. Guys worked extremely hard. It was very hot here, that's for sure. And so we find out a lot about our football team. We think we're a bigger, stronger, faster version of who we've been. We're looking forward to playing on the road in New Jersey this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll open the floor up for questions for Coach Jackson. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody in Grambling are well. Talk a little bit about the opportunity to share the HBCU experience on the big stage in the tri-state when you have brands like you have your brand as well as Hampton, and people really look forward to seeing this.
Oh, absolutely, they do. People think back to the days when Coach Robinson was here. There were some tremendous games played against Hampton. Obviously, Hampton's come out on the winning side quite a bit, and it's been a tremendous game. A lot of people support the game. We were excited to go back and renew this rivalry again and get back to playing. But again, they're a good football team, great university, and obviously we know what we're about and who we are, and we plan on going there and playing a great football game.
Coach, your skill players, can you give us just a little bit on what you've been able to see during your camp and what the G-men can look forward to?
I think what we can look forward to is an improved football team in those areas. I think, like I said, I think we're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger. We have some competing quarterbacks who I think can deliver the ball. And so we're looking to be a much better version of what we were than a year ago.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, speaking of quarterbacks, you got a battle going on, just like most schools have a battle going on coming into the fall season. Which guy have you kind of settled in on or may think may be QB1 when the season starts?
We'll make that decision here later this week, but they both have been competing extremely hard. Obviously, Julian Calvez was a returning starter. We have a gentleman here by the name of Miles Crawley who came over from Alabama State. We have a young kid that's here named Jacob. And they've just been competing. It's been great to see because that raises the level of our football team. But we know we have to make a decision here very shortly, and we'll be prepared to do that.
And what's going to be the deciding factor in how you and your staff determine who's going to start?
Well, I think we'll look at all the data that we've, made some decisions about what we think goes into playing quarterback for us and kind of use that. And then I'll use my feel. I think I have a pretty good feel for that position. And so we'll see if we can come up with the right guy to go play for us.
All right, thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Hugh Jackson with Grambling State. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is currently open for questions. Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, you've been in the SWAC a while, and you've been at the highest level everybody knows at the NFL on Sundays. Now that you've been in HBCU for a while, the question is about the talent. Talk a little bit about the talent and what that looks like, and how high of a talent level it is, and guys getting opportunities to play on Sundays.
Well, I don't think there's any question that there's talent in this conference. And I think not just players, but also coaches. And there are players that deserve an opportunity to be seen across the country that I think can compete with anybody. You know, it's unfortunate that they don't get the notoriety as some of the other players that are playing on Saturdays. But at the same time, I think if people really dig deep and do their jobs at the highest level, they will find that there are some hidden gems that are playing in the HBCU space that can go play in the National Football League.
Thank you, sir.
Taking questions for Coach Jackson, Grambling State. Final questions for Coach. All right, got a question from Mason Smith.
How you doing, Coach Jackson? Mason Smith from HBCU Legends. I know you have a really, intense quarterback battle going on, but in terms of other positions on the field, who are some guys that we should keep in mind from Grambling State football?
Well, obviously, when you think of our football team, the first two guys are going to come up is Cindy out of Anderson, who's our defensive end, who's a preseason SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, and Lewis Matthews on defense, who was one of the leading tacklers in the conference this past year. Those guys are HBCU grown, played great football in the conference, and I look forward to those guys leading our football team. When I look into secondary, Ryan Fields and Chris Dagry are returning players. Again, those are guys who have played in the conference. They understand it. And there's a lot of competition throughout our football team now. So when I look on offense, obviously we're replacing a running back in Maurice Washington, but Floyd Chalk and Lamborghini Williams, those guys have played a lot of football for us. And there's a lot of young players. And that's why I'm excited about watching us play this upcoming week, because we've really added talent across our football team. And those guys are really starting to gel and play well. So I'm looking forward to watching us play a game other than practicing and scrimmage against each other, so I can really see if this talent really transcends to what I think it will.
And a quick follow-up with Lewis Matthews and Cynthia Anderson. Of course, you alluded to the talent in the conference. Where do you see those guys, those two in particular, in terms of projecting to the NFL? Do you think those guys are NFL caliber players?
Oh, absolutely. Sonny has all the measurables. He's 6'5". He's put on 20 pounds. He's 250 pounds this year. He looks it. He's strong. Lewis, people would say from a height perspective, that maybe he's not as tall as you like, but he can run and he's tough and he's 230 pounds. And there's not a play that he can't make from the linebacker position. So there's no question in my mind, people might see Lewis as an outlier, but obviously Sonny has the measurables, the talent, everything you look for.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach Jackson, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We now go to Arkansas Pine Bluff and head coach Alonzo Hampton. You see that we have Coach with us. The Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions will kick off the season on Thursday, August 31st. They'll travel to face Tulsa there in Oklahoma, and happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping camp and previewing your week one opponent.
Well, obviously we had a great training camp, new coaching staff, a lot of new players come in. So everybody was excited to kind of get a good feel for kind of where we want to take our program. And our motto has been restore to pride. So it's been a lot of hot days, like everyone has said. And so that's been fun as well. So we got a chance to learn about our players. And so we're excited about it. And obviously our first opponent, we got Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes. So we'll figure out who's the Golden one. We're the Golden Lions. They're the Golden Hurricanes. So we're excited about the opportunity to go down there on Thursday night and have a first look at our football team. And just like most of the coaches on here have said, man, we've been battling each other all throughout training camp. And now we're just ready to hit somebody else. So it'll be fun, and we're excited about it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Mason Smith.
How you doing, Coach? It's always good talking to you. It's good. Hope your team has success this year. The question I have about is specifically the Thursday game. Obviously, it's easy to prepare for a game like that with training camp in the forefront. But how challenging is it to kind of prepare for a game so early in the week compared to a usual Saturday?
I mean, obviously, man, I've been coaching for a while now, so you got so many different itineraries that you work off of. So it's just another game. I mean, obviously everything's moved up. And so we practiced on Sunday yesterday. We didn't get a chance to go to church. We had a little church on the field. So, I mean, those are some of the dynamics. But obviously for us in our program, we get a chance to, I think the game is on ESPNU. And obviously it's good for our kids to be able to show themselves on the national stage. So we're not going to complain about it, man. It is what it is. You roll the ball out. And somebody's got to hit somebody. Somebody got to score a touchdown. Somebody's got to do something special. So we're excited about the opportunity to be able to do something special. And you know, a lot of our kids think that they can play on that level. We talk about the group of 5 level. So, hey, man, it's time to go. So we'll be ready on Thursday and excited about watching our kids play.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on all your success. The young men, you're a leader of men. The young men that you are coaching up, they want to be like you. They want to be successful. But just talk a little bit about giving these guys a blueprint and some direction, X's and O's, and they can be winners in life.
Well, you know, obviously, you know, myself, you know, being the baby, I got 3 older brothers, 2 older sisters. So I kind of learned the hard way, man. And then when I got to, you know, high school, had some tremendous mentors in my life, and then went on to play college football and had more mentors. And then obviously when I got done getting cut in the NFL, realizing that wasn't the goal for me, God had another plan. So went back and did education. And I always known that I was taught to inspire people, motivate people. And that's how I got into coaching. And I started out as a high school teacher. So, man, what I teach my kids every day is, I mean, your character is something that you can't get back. It's what you do every single day when nobody's watching you. And so what I try to do is I try to model, me and my coaches, try to model consistency around these players, showing them about love, how you love each other, just being there and caring for one another. And obviously, you know, me being a father of 5, I got 2 sons. Well, one's at Tulane playing now as a corner, graduated from Northwestern in the Big Ten. And I got a younger son that just committed to Clemson. So, I mean, I am who I am. And I tell them, man, I'm going to treat you just like I treat my own kids. And so I'm going to love you. But when you get out of line, I'm going to straighten you back up too. And that's what my mentors have done for me. And that's what we're doing around here, man. We just setting a foundation for these young men that they got to understand. You got to be a model of consistency in the classroom, in the community, and on the football field. And I think we've lost our way. And that's obviously anytime you have a coaching change, you got to go in and figure out, like, what can you do to get everybody back on track? And I've been fortunate, man. I started my career out here as a volunteer coach and worked my tail off to work my way up to a defensive coordinator, then go on to Western Kentucky, then go to University of South Florida, University of Oregon, Florida State. I've been fortunate. So now I'm just taking all that stuff I've learned and trying to get it back here. And like I tell everybody, we got a long road to go. But guess what, man? We're going to attack every day with enthusiasm. We're going to have fun. And, man, we're going to make these young men understand that we can change the perception of Pine Bluff. And we want to be the light that the people start saying, you know what, I want to go to Pine Bluff. I want to play for that coaching staff. I want to go to that university. I want to earn my degree. I want to give my finances back to my university and make a difference.
Coach Hampton, the Thursday routine as opposed to the Saturday routine, the game is a few days earlier. But just talk about going in there. It's still a football game and what that week can look like.
Well, you know, obviously for us, like I said, on Sunday we had practice. Then today we'll hit another day of full pads. And then tomorrow we'll be shells. And then, you know, Wednesday you're traveling. So, man, it's just obviously because it's the first game, you've had so many days of practice. So now you just start pulling back and you're just trying to, you know, dial in on what's most important. And our players, man, they're just ready to play. It's like, Coach, man, you saying the same stuff over and over and over again. Coach, let us go play. And then and as coaches, that's what you want to do. You want to get on the field and you know, you think you got some players. You think you got a good offense. You think your defense is good. But obviously, man, you know, let's be honest. You know, those guys have been around a while. They're a group of 5. I mean, they won 5 games last year. And they got a new coach, but they average 30 points a game. Man, we're not crazy. But I can tell you this. Like, we're going to compete. And that's what I'm most excited about. I want to see some of them golden lines, hit some of them golden hurricanes, and then make them know our name. Like, we ain't going to back down now. We coming. And we're going to have fun doing it. And like I said, we'll make the adjustments that we need to make. But I told our kids, Like, we're going in there to hit them in the mouth. I mean, ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We're going to run the football. We're going to do what we do. And at the end of the day, hey, we're going to look a man in the eye and say, I'm coming back. Let's do it again.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you, and welcome to Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Thank you.
Ty Miller from the Power News Radio Network. My first question to you, being that you are a defensive, your background is defense, how did you come about from what you've learned and where you've been that you want to employ a spread offense on the field?
Well, obviously, let's be honest. I mean, obviously, I got a defensive background. I was a high school running back, never played one down of defense. Went to college, played 2.5 years as a receiver. I couldn't catch the ball, but I could run, and I was physical. So they moved me to defense. I started hitting people, and I enjoyed it. And then had opportunity to become a pretty good defensive back and had a chance to play in the NFL, got cut, and then went overseas, NFL Europe, had a chance. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator with the Chiefs, was my D coordinator. And man, he said, Coach, you're going to be a coach one day. He said, I love your personality. I love your energy. And obviously, man, I just took a liking to defense. And then I was like, oh, man, this is pretty cool. And so that's kind of where my background started at. But obviously, a spread offense, when I got with Coach Taggart, he's now the running back coach with the Ravens, man, we were scoring 40 points a game. And we called it basketball on grass. And like, man, nobody, just spread them out. And now you make the defense how to defend the whole field. And I knew when I ever got an opportunity to be a head coach, I wanted to run the spread. And obviously what people didn't realize, you run the spread, okay, but you also run the football. So we're going to make you defend every part of that football field. And then we're going to do it with a tempo. And I mean, we're going to determine our tempo. You're not going to determine how we go. We go fast, we want to go fast. We slow it down, we want to slow it down. So that's how I came about with that, the spread offense. And then, obviously on defense, had an opportunity to work under Tom Allen. That's the head coach of Indiana. We were at USF. We won the most games in the history of the program. We went 11-2. And so, man, I learned so many great things from the guys on that staff. And obviously, you go to different places, you learn things. So I knew when I got a chance what I wanted to do offensively, spread and defense and what I wanted to do. And then, obviously I got a background as special teams coordinator. So, man, I'm just trying to put it all together. And like I told my players and I told our coaching staff, we got a foundation in place and we ain't gonna waver. Okay. You can't make me change my mind about what I believe in what's gonna happen at Pine Bluff. One game ain't gonna determine it, one season ain't gonna determine it. We're on the track, we got a process in place, and we're gonna work that process in the golden lines. We're gonna get to it until God tell me otherwise.
But Coach, you lost some key players, and one of them is your quarterback. So do you have a guy to replace him, and who is he, and what can we expect from your quarterback this year?
Well, yes, sir. We got 2-3 young men that are vying for that position. We haven't even determined who it is yet. I mean, like I said, man, we've been battling. And I told people this. Everybody that left the program, we really don't care because they didn't want to be here. So we brought a lot of guys in, and those are the guys that's competing. But you got a guy like Mekhi Higgins. He didn't play last year, but he's back. He's a 4-star kid out of St. Louis, really talented kid. You got a kid, Jalen Macon, ended up starting a couple games last year, got hurt. So he's back. And then we got Chancellor Edwards. He ended up starting a game or so last year. So we got some guys that have played the position and that can do it in this conference. And obviously, I tell everybody, man, my offensive coordinator, Bobby Acostas, he was the head coach at IMG when they won a national championship. Like, man, one of the smartest guys I've ever been around. And it's funny how God works. When I was at USF as the special teams coordinator, defensive back coach, I met him, during recruiting. Then we went to Florida State when I was a special teams coordinator. He was at IMG. We actually did training camp down there at his facility. And so I met that guy and you watch him and you see what he's done. And it was a great mix for us to be able to pair up. And like I said, I'm excited about what he's teaching those guys and the scheme that he's put in place. And now I just want to see how everything's going to come together. And like I said, man, we're excited about our kids getting an opportunity to showcase themselves on the national stage.
And finally, Coach, I can see and feel the excitement and enthusiasm that you have. And I know it takes time for players to buy in sometimes. How much on a scale of 1 to 10 have the players bought into your program so far?
And that's a good question. I mean, because this Coach Hampton all day, every day. And what I tell them is this. I wake up every morning excited. I wake up every morning motivated. Like, I'm trying to change the perception of what people think of Pine Bluff. And so when you have to inspire people to want to be different. And so when people are not on board, then I just come in with a lot of energy. This is who I am. When I see them, hey, we're going to challenge everybody in our building, everybody around our community, everybody on this campus. We're going to challenge them to become a better version of themselves. We can't keep saying what we don't have. All right. So what are we doing to get what we want? And the way you do that is you show a lot of love. Okay. My players understand this. I said, if I ever lied to you, come back and tell me. I said, but everything I've said to you since I took the job, have I not done it? I said, all I ask you to do is give me everything you got. If you give me everything you got, and if it don't work out, then I'm going to go talk to God again and say, God, now what is it you said to me now? I'm going to hold you to your promise.
Gotcha, Coach. Thank you, and good luck this weekend against Tulsa.
Appreciate it.
Try to get one more quick question in. That'll go to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? Starting out the season on the road against an FBS opponent on national television, with an opponent like that to start the season off, does that make it a little bit easier going through summer camp or fall camp when these guys are starting to get tired? Is it a little bit easier to motivate them when you got that at the end of the tunnel?
Well, absolutely it does, Tanner. And obviously, man, we appreciate you for your coverage, what you do for UAPB, all our athletics and our program in general. But no, I mean, our kids understand, like every kid here thinks they need to be playing at a higher level, correct? So now you get a chance to go out there, and play against those guys. Some of those guys are moving down from even bigger schools. I mean, from Power 5, not just a group of 5. So now it's like win your one-on-one battle. Because we always tell the kids, do your job, do your 111. So now we get a chance on Thursday to watch our guys go out there and win their one-on-one battles. And then we get a chance to come back and watch that film. And obviously, man, we want to stay in that game as long as possible. And like I said, man, we want to make them understand, like, it's going to be a war. Like, we ain't just coming over there to have no fun and play a Thursday night game and let them bring in their new coach and their new fan base and get them excited. Well, guess what? We got a fan base over here, too. And our fans going to travel. And our marching M4, they going to be there, too. And so, like, we're excited about that. And so our kids know we have a product that we need to put on this field, that our fan base get excited about what we're doing. I've said all the right things. Now it's time for my players and our coaches to back up some of the stuff we've been talking. And like I said, we ain't worried about who exited the program. We lost a lot of players when I got here, and that's fine. And then we brought some guys in, and man, we'll roll out what we got, and we'll see what the golden lines are, and then we'll turn around and make the adjustments and get ready for game 2.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Thank you. We'll now go to Mississippi Valley State head coach Kendrick Wade. I do believe that we have Coach on the call with us. Coach, if you could, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping camp and also your week 1 opponent, Central State.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everybody. Camp went well. We came out relatively healthy, which is the most important thing, just making sure we're doing things the right way, coming out healthy. One of the greatest challenges was just trying to survive this heat here in the Mississippi Delta. It's a little bit different than most places. So just managing that and doing the things we need to do to make sure we keep our guys healthy was very important. Central State, a team we opened up with in Chicago, in the Chicago Classic team from the SIAC. We're looking forward to getting out there and, mixing it up with those guys.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach Wade. First question goes to Mason Smith.
Morning, Coach Wade. Hoping everything's well on your end. I know one thing you talked about at media day, the battle between Jamar Jones and Maldonado at the quarterback position. Do you have an answer for the quarterback position yet as you get ready for Central State?
No, man, they're still negotiating that thing, just trying to see who's going to be who. Sometime day 1, we'll have Jamara going with the ones. The following day, we have Dano going with the number 1s. Both guys have done an exceptional job. And again, we're going to let this week play itself out, and we'll name a start at the end of it.
And I know that all the coaches talked about just getting ready to play somebody else, get tired of hitting on each other. But for you specifically, as a first-year head coach, a lot of new players, how excited for you to finally get the ball rolling in Mississippi Valley?
Man, excited. Tired of talking. Everybody, all we can do right now is talk. So, just kind of putting a product out there that's going to speak for you. We're very excited about that. We'd had a couple scuffles the last couple practices, so that's an indicator that these guys are sick of each other, they're tired of each other, and they're ready to go out there and play against somebody else.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Wade, congratulations on the job at Valley. Can you just talk a little bit about the history of it, being a part of that legacy, Jerry Rice, and so on and so forth, and what that means to you personally so far?
Yes, sir. I mean, it feels great to be back, just to be a part of this great history. For those who don't know, Willie Totten not only coached me here at Valley, but he was my high school head coach as well. So I have a great relationship, a standard relationship with Coach Totten. Talk to him every other week. We call each other. Got the opportunity to speak with Jerry Rice, and I think he's gonna be speaking to the team on next week. Just so much great history, man. And you bring those guys back, Parnell Dickinson, guys like that you let come back and kind of talk about Valley in his heyday. And I was always told, if you're at a place that they won before, then you can do it again. So again, just bringing guys back who's been successful here has been very important for us.
Coach, your first opportunity is, as you said, in Chicago, and it gives opportunity for fans to see the Valley as well as Central State. But just talk about going in and looking for a W.
Yeah, so again, we don't talk about, winning and losing games, just kind of focus on just kind of winning every day. So we focus on doing winning things each and every day. Saturday going to take care of itself. I think the greatest thing that we're looking for is, we talking a lot of winning things, but again, it hadn't been a lot of winning around here. So how we going to react to adversity, is something that I'm looking forward to, we take guys through things and they've been through hell so they can unleash hell. But, until you step out there, I mean, you never really know.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed season.
You too, sir.
Currently taking questions for Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State. Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Coach, one thing you've heard a lot about with Mississippi Valley State is really that defense. A lot of guys came in, through the transfer portal, of course, guys that are coming in from the high school ranks. What should we expect from that Valley defense this year?
Well, just from the whole team, I mean, effort is the foundation of our program. There's no greater indicator as far as if you're really enjoying something, showing effort. So we're going to fly around. We're going to be fast. We're going to be physical. We don't have this mindset where we bend, don't break. We're going to get after people. And if you're going to beat us, you got to beat us on our own terms and conditions. So we're going to be physical, fast, and we're going to get after people, and we're going to be disciplined. I think that's the most important thing. Valley has always played hard. There's never been a problem, but can you do winning things all the time? So discipline is going to be something we expect to see for the whole team.
Currently taking questions for Coach Wade. Next question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Good. Now, going up to travel to Chicago is different than being at home, of course. And you haven't been able to set a routine just yet with your guys. But being in that type of environment, what are you going to do to kind of get those guys grounded?
So what you do, you treat every day like game day. So when we go to Chicago, it's no different than being here. And I know it sounds good, but again, we just focus on what we can focus on, control the things that we can control, which is our preparations and how we go about doing things. So whether we at Rice Totten Stadium or we're at Soldier Field, we wake up every day and just focus on doing things the right way. But just kind of go a little bit and deeper to your question. Saturday, we had a game rehearsal. We got off of the bus. We walked in the facility. We walked the field and just kind of did the things that we're going to do on next Saturday. So we did that to just try to get these guys some sort of indication what it's going to be like once we get there.
Will you guys have a chance to do a practice on the field at Soldier Field, or will you guys have a chance to just be able to walk it?
So from what I was told, we won't be able to get on Soldier Field on that Friday. I think we'll be at a high school on that Friday. The information I got. Now, when I get there, I'm still going to try to push it a little bit, see if we can at least get out there, kind of move around a little bit, feel the turf or the grass, and just kind of see what it feels like. But again, we still waiting to see.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We got time for one last quick question. That'll go to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, the Magnolia State features 3 SWAC universities in Valley, Alcorn, and Jackson State. Just talk a little bit about being a part of that three-headed monster and how special it is.
Man, I love it. My cousin's the defensive coordinator over at Alcorn. Close friend of mine is Maurice Harris, is the offensive coordinator at Jackson State. TC is a good friend of mine. He's the head coach at Jackson State. So, man, I love being a part of it. I mean, just so much history. You get talking about Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, Steve McNair, just to name a few guys. Man, honestly, I don't even know if I can put it in words how special it is just to be a part of something like this. I'm super excited about it, and I thank God I get the opportunity to be a part of it.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
You too, sir.
Coach Wade, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We now go to Prairie View A&M. Head coach Bubba McDowell. I do see that we have Coach there with us. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for your time. We are aware that you have the press conference there for the Labor Day Classic that you're getting prepared for. But, Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping camp and previewing week one.
Well, I think camp went really well. We got guys flying around, and that's always good, especially with this heat that was going on here in Houston. Again, we just have our guys out there running around, making sure that they are mentally prepared through such an ordeal that we had this year for us to heat. And again, just getting them ready to go and, get ready to go and play a good football team this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing, Kyle?
Good. You guys are about to go into the Houston Showdown, we like to call it also.
Yes, sir.
And it's great for your recruiting efforts as well. Talk about your team and how you guys have been able to bring in some guys through the transfer portal and how you've been able to get them acclimated to the Prairie View system.
Yeah, we were blessed to get some guys out of the portal. And again, initially we were trying to do go more high school guys, but then, after seeing what everybody else is doing, we decided to go a different route and get some guys that come in, replace some good dudes that we lost last year, in order to help us get to where we need to get to this year. And that's the championship. That's the goal of everybody, to get to that championship, play for the SWAC championship. And like I said, we did really good as far as the bringing players in and filling spots that we needed to fill. And we're not as bad as everybody think we are, trust me. Saying that, we had a good camp, and those guys came in and did their job, what they were supposed to do, according to what the coaches have them to do on the field and off the field. And I think that's always a plus for us, and as a unit. And they play really well together. And that was my biggest goal this year, was to get them to play more together, starting out there on the practice field.
And quickly, what problems or what type of challenges does Andrew Body pose for Prairie View?
I mean, good. We know what kind of guy he is, man. The dude is good. He can run. He can throw. He's big, and we just got to be able to keep this guy contained, at some point. You're not going to stop him, just got to be able to contain him, throughout the course of the game, kind of pick and choose where you want to contain him at and how you're going to do it. And, and hopefully we can come out successful on that end. He's a great athlete. Like I said, you're not going to stop him, but you can just kind of, slow him down a little bit.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Texas are well. Can you just talk a little bit about week one? Usually it's a measuring stick, but this time it's the intensity of the rivalry, and tell everybody what this game is really all about.
Man, it's a big rivalry. Coach McKinney going to have his guys ready. Coach McDowell going to have his guys ready. Players are ready. From both teams, I'm pretty sure. I can't speak for Coach, but I know from our team, these guys have been hitting each other again all summer long, and now they're ready to get out and hit somebody else, man. Two in-state rival teams, again, that play each other really tough every year. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a packed house, and I'm looking forward to that. Again, I'm really looking forward to us being victorious out there, which, again, I think we can do that if we just go out and play 4 quarters of football.
Coach, you put your stamp on this program, and now you want to take it to the next level. just talk a little bit about what you want to envision this year.
Again, we want to, again, this year, again, just to take it to the next level, not next level again, just being, not just close enough, but, being in that SWAC championship game this year. And as I told them all summer, in order for us to be there, we got to continue to do what we do best on the field. And that's be in position to make plays and make plays that others think you're not going to be able to make. And that's offense, defensively, and special teams. And those guys have definitely went out, and took on that challenge and did very well this whole camp.
Have a blessed week, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, just wanted to ask you, in terms of last season, the students feeling maybe they didn't complete the deal after making the championship game 2 years ago. How has that impacted what they want to do this season?
Oh man, they've been flying around, man. I'm telling you, and again, and they're seeing what people are saying about them, where they're rated. Like I told them, I said, guys, don't worry about all that rating, man. Just go out, and take care of business. If you go out and just take care of business the way that we know you can, know that you will, and let the game, dictate and take care of itself. If you play the way that you're capable of playing, we'll be back at the where we need to be at the end of the year. But like I told them, don't worry about all the ratings. Go out, play Prairie View football, and we'll be okay.
Thank you, Coach. See you shortly.
Yes, sir.
Currently taking questions for Coach McDowell with Prairie View A&M. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature on Zoom to get your question in the queue. Currently taking questions for Coach McDowell. Any final questions? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. A few minutes ahead of schedule for our next coach. That will be Coach Eric Dooley with Southern University. His media availability is set to start at approximately 11:35 a.m. Central. We'll pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, we thank everyone for your patience on our call. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. With that being said, we're so happy to be joined by Southern University head coach Eric Dooley, and the Southern Jaguars obviously will kick off the season this upcoming weekend there in Montgomery when they travel to face the Alabama State Hornets. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping camp and previewing your week one opponent.
Yes, good morning. I thought we had a very, very competitive camp. I'm talking about through all the positions, and that's what you hope for when you try to bring a team in coming into your second year. You had some players that you established from the first year. that came back that's doing a great job. And then we are through transfer, JUCO, as well as other four-year schools, we was able to bring some guys in that we felt that fit our program well. So I thought camp was very, very competitive, just like everyone else is very, very hot, but we had an opportunity to move some practices around. So that afforded us the opportunity to go out where it wasn't as hot as it would normally be. So, and moving into this game right here, you're talking about playing an Alabama State team, Eddie Robinson type team. He's putting his stamp on that program as well. And I know the type of individual that he is. So I look for a hard-fought game coming Saturday.
Thank you for those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Good morning, Coach. Just since the beginning of preseason camp, how much improvement and have you seen in Harold Blood? And the second part of the question is, what impact has Willie Totten had on him as his quarterback coach?
Well, I saw a huge improvement. You know, the young man works extremely hard. When someone goes after the job the way that he did, you got to expect some type of success to come through and some type of growth. But to have a mentor such as a Willie Totten, a guy that played this game at a high level, played within this conference, coached this game within this conference, to have someone like that to tutor you, I think is lights out. And I think you couldn't ask for a better young man to come in and tutor guys. So I think the room itself was loaded. I thought we had some talent there. And he came in, hit the ground running, and done a tremendous job with these young men.
Was there a specific area that Coach Totten really helped Harold?
I think you have to help out in all areas. You don't go in just looking out for one thing. When you're talking about a new guy, a guy that's coming in, a coach that have not seen those guys play. I know he watched from afar, but I thought he came in and understood what needed to be done because he's a quarterback. So he understand that and coached that position and played it at a high level. So he knew the things that he needed to do to work on, not just Harold Blood, but all the other guys as well. So done a tremendous job. Work is not complete yet. We continue to work and try to get better each day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Dooley, I hope you and everybody at Southern are well. Just talk a little bit about the trenches, the O-line, the D-line, what you see with your guys and how they worked out this summer.
Yes, everyone is doing well. Thanks. I tell you, you know, once I took the job, my thing was I wanted to build this team inside out. That's meaning I had to start with the offense and defensive line. I'm a skilled guy and like to do a lot of different things, but you got to understand what's going to have you to have the ability to do the things that you want to do. And that's starting inside out with the offensive line and defensive line. I thought we went out, the assistant coaches did a great job going out to get more depth, some places that we had to fill. And then we had to replenish some places on defense as well. So the assistant coaches did a great job. We brought those guys in and now we feel good with the depth as well as the talent.
Coach, week one is a formidable weekend. You look at Alabama State, Coach Robinson, Southern, a really good game on paper, but just talk about the mentality going in.
You know, I think you it's not the game that you play. It's not who you play. It's just when you play. I think you got to have that same mentality, understanding what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And so our goals is right now, we know that we're playing a great football team, but we got to go out and take care of Southern University. Do the things that we're capable of doing and make the adjustments and continue to fight.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You too.
Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Good morning, Coach Dooley. Hope everything's going well on your end. Obviously, there's a quarterback battle going on at Alabama State, but D. Davis is kind of in the lead. What did you see from D. Davis last year, his first year in the SWAC, and what do you potentially expect from him this year?
Well, you know, I had this young man when he was playing in Houston, extremely talented young man that I think he can make all the throws. He's a great guy when you talk about dual threat quarterback, do some great things. So I think they got a gem when they took that young man in. So I expect him to be a lot better. You know, you're talking about he still was young. You know, he transferred in from a Power 5 school, but he hadn't played. So it's a difference when you get to a college level. Some things that he had to make some adjustments. So I know that on that end, they trust that they made the right decision and did some great things. So I expect a much improved guy. I'm not saying that I can evaluate on how well he did or did not do, but I expect a young man to come out and play some football, exciting football at that.
A quick follow-up with that. Obviously, the Alabama State defense is highly regarded. They did lose some people. Ershad Davis and others have transferred out. But what are you expecting from that defense, and how you prepared your offense to handle that?
Well, you're talking about the head coach. The head coach was a outstanding linebacker as well. Played in the National Football League for a long time and played within this conference and did a great job. You know they're going to take the identity. You know that's his identity. So the defense got to play well, and I think they're very fast and physical. So looking at the team that they had last year and the team that they're going to bring back, we know it's a challenge for us. But of course, the Jaguars are going to be up for the challenge.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, would you talk a little bit more about Coach Robinson? It's two New Orleans guys going against each other a little bit. What's your connection with him? Do you know each other well? And do you run across each other trying to recruit guys out of New Orleans?
Well, you know we're going to butt heads in New Orleans. That's our Fall Nation. That's where we're from. But, you know, I did know him prior to him accepting the job. Always thought highly of him, had opportunity to communicate with him through various friends. I know that this is a great thing. You're talking about what a blessing to see two young men grew up in New Orleans. So there you have it. You know, young men that are playing high school football or playing playground football in New Orleans. It's possible. Just do what you're supposed to do, and opportunity will exist.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dooley with Southern University. Next question goes to Mason Smith.
Coach Dooley, you kind of joked at media day that if you have nothing else, you have a really deep running back room. How those running backs kind of work to Simmons out, and how do you plan to balance that, that depth during the season?
You know, it's a luxury to have a running back room such as I have, and then when you just listen to everyone in the conference, everybody have a loaded room in every position that they have. That's what it's all about. Going out and be able to get the guys that you feel can help you. You know, our motto is, I've been saying it for a long time, and nothing has changed. There's enough food. You just got to sit to the table, and I think those guys understand that. It's not that they're fighting. They're going to always battle. I believe in competition every day. So those young men are doing a great job. Now it's just up to me and the coaching staff to find out how will we utilize them. How can we get the best version of those young men?
Any final questions for Coach? We'll take a question from James Hill.
Coach, the transfer portal, we've discussed that over the last few years, but talk about the impact of that transfer portal on the college game and what you're seeing in the HBCU and in the SWAC and across the land.
Well, you know, now you talk about the transfer portal, I think it evens the playing field, you know, to give a guy the opportunity. You don't have to, and as well as ADs, they're not looking for a 3-year rebuilding year. They're looking for you to come in right now because you have the ability to go out and find that piece of the puzzle that fit right now because it's the transfer portal is so big. But for us, you know, I think it's all about relationships. You know, guys that you recruit that may have gone on to larger programs. Those are guys that you got to reach out to because you got every piece won't fit. You know, everything look good is not always good for you. So we do understand that. So we try to go out and make sure that we do a good job of, I want to say, evaluating those guys that we want to bring into our program because it's all about what you're going to do when you get here. You're leaving for a reason. So some things that may not fit or some things you're looking for that we can't provide. And we just want to get the best version that can fit here and make us a better football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you. We'll now prepare to go to Texas Southern. We'll be joined by Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney. The Tigers and the Panthers are currently at their Labor Day Classic press conference. We're going to try to get Coach McKinney here online to answer some questions. We appreciate your patience. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, we do ask all of our media participants, if you do have a question for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. We do have Coach McKinney who is joining us, so we'll be joined by Coach McKinney here momentarily. All right, I do see that we have Coach McKinney on the line. We'll pause momentarily to get his audio connected there. Coach, not sure if you can hear us. We can see you, but we don't have an audio connection. All right, I do believe we're experiencing some technical difficulties with Coach McKinney's audio. We'll try to get those resolved. Appreciate your patience. All right, I do think we have Coach McKinney's audio connected. Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
Outstanding. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Coach, obviously we know you are getting prepared for a press conference here, so we do appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule this morning to join us. Coach, we'll jump right into it. If you could, please just start us out with an opening statement regarding camp and previewing your week 1 opponent.
Camp really well. Got out of injury free, and guys worked extremely hard. It was a struggle dealing with the heat and humidity, but we got through it, and we're still getting through it. looking forward to this season. We feel like we got some pieces to the puzzle to help us play at a high level.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up the floor for questions for Coach McKinney. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Houston are well. Just talk a little bit about this is one of the biggest rivalries in HBCU, and you get it right off the top. And then just tell us a little bit about Andrew right now.
Yeah, the Labor Day Classic has been a big game for us. It's a rival game. It's the Battle of Houston. A lot of split households that week, and it gives you if you can be out front in our side of the conference. So it's a huge game. We're looking forward to it.
What's your thoughts on Andrew going into the season? He has a lot of talent.
Yeah, very talented kid. I think the thing that sticks out the most with Andrew is his leadership abilities. The team follows him. He's a willing leader. Very talented. Both a true dual threat. He can run it, he can throw it, and he's our leader.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is now open. Any questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern? All right, we'll take a question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, defensively, what are you seeing from your ball club, and what would you like to see this season?
I think in order for us to be successful, we've got to do a much better job of stopping the run. I think we were pretty decent against the pass on last year. And our focus this year has been up front, our front seven, and getting those guys in a stop the run mindset first. And so if we can accomplish that, we feel like we can win a couple more games.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Final questions for Coach. Coach, I think everyone sees that you are en route traveling, so they want to give you opportunity to focus there on the road. So we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend. Thank you. All right, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule. We'll be joined by our final coach for today's weekly media session. That'll be Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State. His availability is scheduled to start roughly about a minute and a half at 11:55 a.m. Central. So we'll be back here. We'll pause momentarily. We'll be joined by Coach here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, just another reminder, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your initial question to one initial question, then a follow-up. We will try to work back to get as many questions answered as we can during our coaches' 10-minute availability. Once again, if you do if you're not actively asking a question, we ask you please mute your lines. And once again, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your questions in the queue. All right, I do see that we have Coach Taylor here joining us. We'll try to get him connected here momentarily so that we can begin. Just one last reminder, next week, this weekly media session will be conducted on Tuesday, September 5th, in observance of the Labor Day holiday on Monday, same time slot beginning at 10 a.m., concluding all the way down to 12 p.m. Central Time. You do need a audio recording or the recording of this Zoom session. We'll send it out to all of the email addresses that are in our database, but if you aren't in the database, if we ask you, please email a.roberts@swac.org to get the recording of this media session. We'll put that email in the chat. If you could please send that request, and we'll be happy to add you to the recording distribution list. All right, Coach Taylor is joining us. All right, I do see Coach Taylor with us, and as always, Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Obviously, a little bit interesting scenario here. You're the only coach on the call today that will have an opportunity to discuss a game. Obviously, you had a contest in week 0. So, first of all, welcome to the call, Coach. And if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent victory, a 37-7 win over South Carolina State at the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
I thought it was a great weekend for our football team. They came out and really played well at a lot of positions, all phases, 3 phases when you look at it. Our offense played pretty good. Defense was very physical. Special teams was solid. The execution was right where we wanted to be, but we still got a long ways to go for this football team. But we'll take a win in a stage like that, like the weekend was, a big crowd, huge numbers in the stadium. So many question marks for myself as a head coach just to see where your football team is at early in the season. We got a lot of those questions answered, but it was truly a great weekend for Jackson State football.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Taylor. First question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. Lost in all the conversation about how well your quarterback played. The guy who really jump-started your offense on Saturday was Irv Mulligan, your running back transfer from Wofford. How big of a contributor do you see him being this year for your team?
I think what you saw, that's exactly what he's going to be. Him and JD provide a great 1-2 punch. We talk about, everybody been hearing about the physicality we want to bring to football games, and he came out there and set the tone for the football team. It was good to see him have some success early. He's got the opportunity to be really good, I think, in this conference. He runs behind his pads. Great kid, great student athlete, and I'm excited about what he brings to this football team offensively.
How much does having a guy like that really help expand your offense even more? I know you guys put up a lot of good production on Saturday, but having that consistent running attack, how much will that help you guys moving forward?
I think it's going to help big time for this program. Anytime you got a big physical back that can finish games for you the way he went out there and did it, that's what we want to be. The offensive line did a great job as well, moving people, controlling the line of scrimmage. And anytime you can hand it to a guy with that size and that type of speed that he displayed this weekend, it gives us an opportunity to know if we can get out in front of people, he can close games. But also, too, early on, you talk about the home run ability that he showed. It was a pleasant sight to see for this football team, like I said.
All right, thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Taylor, I hope you and everybody back in Jackson are well. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, Mr. Brown. Really played well. And then also he was dynamic in the game in Atlanta.
like you said, he played a great game. He was solid, protecting the football. That's some things that we really stressed with him, these last couple of weeks going into this football game, the ball security, making sure we're taking care of the football, don't turn it over. He showed some leadership. He called the team up, the offensive group up at one time over there and talked about finishing the game. And just to see the where he's come with those receivers. We took some shots. So, we got some guys out there we feel pretty good about, but we took some shots, down the field, and he laid it out there. I think he could have been better on a couple of them. That's what I told him, as far as getting the ball out. The one I love, though, was the fourth down deal. That's where you could see he would be okay. Fourth down, take a hit like that in the face and still was able to get the ball off for a touchdown to DJ Stevens. So we're excited about him. We have to continue to coach him up, and he has to continue to get better. We sputtered a little bit earlier, but he had a good game. And we're excited about what he brings to the table.
TC, flip the script. South Florida, FAMU, Jackson State, Orange Blossom Classic. This is a big game, and everybody is clamoring to look forward to it. What do you see going into South Florida against FAM?
Two well-coached football teams that's going to get after it this weekend come Sunday. Coach Simmons is a great coach. He's done some awesome things in this league. He has the Offensive Player of the Year right now for his preseason Offensive Player of the Year in Musa. So it's going to be a competitive game. This is the one I think everybody is, waiting to see, and we know the magnitude of this game. The last couple of years, the winner of this game has really went on to play for the SWAC championship. So to get this kind of game early in the season for HBCU, it's going to be good. I don't think it'll disappoint like it had in the last couple of years.
Thank you, Coach Taylor. Congratulations, and have a blessed week.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Next question goes to Zach McKinney.
Hope you're doing well, Coach. Man, I wanted to ask about your offensive line. How did you feel like they played as a unit, and what were your biggest takeaways from their performance this past weekend?
I thought they played well together. That was something that concerned us. How was the chemistry with those guys up front? But I thought they came out and dominated the offensive line of scrimmage. I thought they did a great job of that because we've been hearing about the guys that we went against on South Carolina State's football team a couple of years ago. Quite a few of those guys came back this year. So we challenged them. I really challenge those guys every day in practice to come out and set the tone. If we can do it out there in practice against our defense and, pop a few runs here, pop a few runs there, we can definitely take it into a football game and go out here and be physical. I love their effort. They play with great effort, running down the field, doing things like that. So I was very pleased with them. We still got a ways to go. We left a lot of points out there, I think, but where we at with this offensive line, I feel good about.
And a quick follow-up here, Jeremiah Williams and Devontae Davis had outstanding games at defensive tackle. Can you talk a little bit about how important it is to be able to generate the pressure and get in the backfield from the 3-tech at that defensive tackle spot with those guys?
Well, they did a good job, like you said, and it allowed some other guys to play well around, and those linebackers really flew around. But we knew about Jeremiah and Double D going into the season what they were. They made plays last season. Those guys have been here. They played a lot of football. They're strong. They're big. They're physical. And just like we were talking about the offensive line, they can really control the line of scrimmage over there. I thought Coach Bradley did a great job, our defensive coordinator as well, as keeping them fresh. We rotated a bunch of guys up front, but and we're going to need that this weekend. But Jeremiah came out there and really set the tone early, made some plays. Double D is a guy that's been around. He's one of both of those guys are one of the true leaders on this team. When they talk, the rest of the team listen. So they just got to continue to be a force out there, and we got to keep them fresh and keep them upright.
Appreciate you, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Next question goes to G. Thomas.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? Gerald Thomas out of Tallahassee Democrat. We spoke a little bit at SWAC Media Day. So of course, coming down to Florida this weekend. But in recent years, Jackson State has had FAMU's number. So kind of tell me, you're coming in, you're a new coach. Kind of tell me, just wanting to continue that and continue beating FAMU basically, you know, as y'all prepare for that Orange Blossom Classic showdown on Sunday?
For us, it's the next game on the schedule. You know, like you said, we knew this game was coming. We wanted to take care. That's why it was so important to come out and play a good, clean football game this past weekend, and then, you know, get back in here and get to the drawing board and get ready for this one this weekend. But it's like I said, you know, we know they got some players down there. We know they're well coached, but you know, this one has a lot of bearing on the rest of the season for the entire SWAC. You know, it's a lot riding on this football game. So our players understand that we came back in here Sunday. You know, we put that one behind us and start getting ready for this football game. But I'm excited to see our football team go up against a team like FAMU, like I said, with so many returning players. Again, here we go. We're on the road again. 3 o'clock kickoff. I think somewhere in there it's going to be hot. You know, how are we going to go out there and can we take what we did this weekend into a football game of this magnitude? And also, too, you know, playing in a game on ABC and then coming back on ESPN, you still got to be ready to go to perform on these type of platforms.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Last question goes to Mason Smith.
Afternoon, Coach. Again, congrats on the win. I kind of a big picture question about DJ Stevens. The tight end position doesn't have as long of a lineage compared to quarterback or running back in black college football. Just talk to me about that and how DJ Stevens could, you know, maybe change on his college career, maybe on the pro level.
Well, DJ, what I tell DJ, you basically just got to stay the course and stay consistent. You laid down a foundation, a body of work last year that was remarkable, like you said, for the tight end position. But he just got to continue to work. He's a great player. Everything that he's gotten for the All-American accolades and everything he deserves. If you watch him work on a day-to-day basis, you can see basically what you're saying. He would have an opportunity to play on the next level. But DJ is a guy, though, a lot of people don't know that's been around here. You know, he was here in 19 when I first got here. He done played a lot of football. Comes from a great family. His dad, mom, you know, they're really behind him. But I'm excited for him this season as well. You saw it this weekend. But the hidden things about DJ, you know, everybody think about the pass catching and everything, but he's a great blocker. He brings a lot to the table in our run game. We was talking about with Herb Mulligan, those running backs and everything. So he's the total package at tight end, great size. So we're excited about what he's, you know, brought to that tight end position for us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care. Be blessed.
This concludes our SWAC Football Weekly Media Session for Monday, August 28th. We will send out the recording of this session to the